What up, my fellow Knicks fans? This is your guy Marcellus Ease, and don't panic quite yet. Now, with the firing of David Fizdale, we all got to wonder, what does that actually solve? Now, we still have a lot of holes in our roster. We got power forwards bringing up the ball, trying to initiate offense. We have injuries at point guard with Alfred Payton working his way back into the lineup. And very unfortunately, Dennis Smith Jr., the only thing that's consistent about him is his injuries and, just him being erratic with the ball. It does not look like that so far in the season is going to pan out. He's going to have to make major changes this season to actually bounce back. And, firing a David Fizdale, making him the fall guy, what does that actually solve? Now, it even took a hater-ass person like Jay Williams, who hates on the Knicks like crazy, to tell Stephen A. Smith, how come the Knicks just didn't ride out with David Fizdale? You guys check it out, and I'll check in every once in a while.
I don't care if he wants to go or not, Fizdale. We're going to ride this damn thing through. You're going to continue to fight through this, and we're going to build for the future.
So you don't let him go? So you're saying that Fizdale should have stayed?
You see by Stephen A's reaction, he's almost like he's the panicky Knick fans. He's the panicky Knick fan that quicks to, want to quickly make a move because the media pressure, fire this guy, trade this person. But it never crossed Stephen A. Smith's mind, as you could see from his reaction. Hey, they should have just kept Fizdale and just ride out with it. It never even crossed his mind.
So yes?
I disagree.
Why?
Because when I looked at him, I saw a man that was defeated. I saw a man that was frustrated with how moribund and pathetic this situation.
Listen to his reasoning. Nothing is based off of fact. It's just assumption.
There does come a point in time where if you love and you care about somebody, or at least you respect them.
Love, care. These are all words that are kind of like feelings. There's nothing factual right now that he's saying.
You release them from their misery. And the New York Knicks are in a miserable situation. There is no way around that. So it was
Now watch Jay Will actually kind of bring all this into center right here.
Love. It was a move of love. It was a move of love. They let him go.
Let's go with that.
And it was with love.
Once you're going to get KD, once you're going to get Kyrie, you know what this is?
Yes.
It's called a long-term investment.
Well,
It's nothing about a short-term investment on a team. When did these expectations come to fruition that we thought this team was going to make the playoffs?
Exactly. We didn't get anything in the offseason. We're having issues at point guard. We have a lot of holes in the roster. Everyone knows what this is. And this right now is just telling me that whatever Steve Mills is telling James Dolan, because James Dolan, let's keep in mind, he does not understand basketball. He doesn't really know that much about basketball. It's telling me that Steve Mills, to save his face, is telling James Dolan they got a better product than they did last year. Well, the reality is that they do talent-wise, but it doesn't mean that all the pieces fit together.
I will say this to you. Clearly, there was no long term, which is the indictment, because even though the Knicks will tell you that, the reality is that they have a whole bunch of guys on their squad that are one-year players. You paid Julius Randle a 3-year deal. You drafted R.J. Barrett. I get that. But pretty much when you look at this roster, there's nothing long-term going on here. It seems like the plan is...
The long-term should be R.J. Barrett and Kevin Knox. But as we've seen, the short-term guys, like Marcus Morris, is getting a lot of playing time, a lot of minutes. He's taking over the ball, especially in crunch time. I mean, what investment plans do we have in him? He's just going to have a good year and then walk away to another team the following season the same way Moutier did. What's the point of putting all this development into this player just for him to take his talents elsewhere the following season? This doesn't make any sense. This tells me that there's pressure from upstairs to play some of these veteran guys over the developing young guys that you have long-term investment for in order to win now and to save face.
Create cap space so we can attract the star, but there's no way in hell you're going to attract the star with the situation being the way that it is, the way that it has been, and I'm really sick and tired of having a reminder.
It's the best coaching gig of all time.
Really?
Just get in and get out. Get your money. It's guaranteed money.
Well, you can
That's
say
what
that.
any coach would do.
All right, you can look at it that way. I can look at it another way. There's nowhere to go but up because you can't get much lower.
I feel
You
so
didn't
bad
say that
for y'all.
about
Y'all so
the Cowboys,
optimistic all the
though.
time.
But tell me, what would you do? What would you do if you were in control here? What is the next move that your New York Knicks have to take or should take?
Me personally, and I've said this, whether it's about Mark Jackson or to a lesser degree, I think you're going to hear the name Jason Kidd. They're going to deny that. I think you're going to be hearing Jason Kidd's name come up in the days and weeks to come.
Now, Jason Kidd, it doesn't really make sense to have Jason Kidd even be the coach. In Milwaukee, he even proved he couldn't really take a team with Giannis and make them improve every year. They were actually flattening out and actually downgrading. Now, when the Bucks got Bullhozer as the brand new coach, they actually started playing a lot better and, started making the playoff push. And you can even see Giannis. Giannis changed up into a more developed player.
I'm being told that that's somebody.
And also, you got to look at Jason Kidd. What he did with the Brooklyn Nets, he ripped them off completely. He sabotaged that team completely when he was there. I mean, that guy's not really trustworthy.
That Dolan likes. We'll see what happens. Here's what I will say to you.
Let me go back to what he just said.
If you were in control here, what is the next move that your New York Knicks have to take or should take?
Me personally, and I've said this, whether it's about Mark Jackson or to a lesser degree, I think you're going to hear the name Jason Kidd. They're going to deny that. I think you're going to be hearing Jason Kidd's name come up in the days and weeks to come. I'm being told that that's somebody that Dolan likes. We'll see what happens. Here's what I will say.
Now, he's being told that's someone that Dolan likes. See, there goes that nepotism again. Stephen A. always accused the Knicks of hiring, especially upper management, hiring people that they like, people that they do favors for. But now he's vouching for Jason Kidd, which is someone that Dolan likes. He didn't even say he's the best man for the position. It's just someone that Dolan likes.
Say to you. I've always been about Mark Jackson, but it's never been because of basketball. It's because New York is such a depressing basketball situation for decades. It's not a basketball coach that these guys need, and it stops there. You need somebody that when he speaks, he's believable. He's one of your own, and when he talks, you're going to be inclined to give him the benefit of the doubt and exercise patience because you finally have somebody talking basketball for the franchise that New Yorkers can relate to. The problem is...
Yeah, the problem with that is that right now in the NBA, they kind of shadow ban Mark Jackson. You see, when he was out in Golden State, Mark Jackson is a Bible thumper. He's always preaching the Bible. And he got on TV and he kind of spoke against the gay community. It's not part of his religion. He doesn't believe in that. And right now, if you're in the entertainment business, whether you're an actor, you're a sports athlete, as long as you're in that entertainment world, you can't be speaking out against that gay community, especially, using your Bible to defend it. So at the end of the day, the NBA it seems like they shadow ban him. They kind of don't want any parts with that, speaking against that community right now. It's just very unfortunate for Mark Jackson, but I'm not sure if it's going to work out for him to get hired at this present time. Maybe in the future when things change, but in this climate right now, it's kind of hot to hire Mark Jackson.
When you think about, listen to me, and I'm not saying he should, but when you think about Steve Mills, or even when you think about Scott Perry, who has a damn good reputation in the NBA circle, okay? The problem is they are perceived as being an extension of Dolan. Right. So even when they talk, it's hard to really, really take them seriously because you're wondering when Dolan's going to get in the way. Whereas with a coach that has folks in New York who support.
I don't agree with that. The only thing with Steve Mills, he's proven he's untrustworthy. I mean, as of late, he's definitely proven that. With the comments that Derrick Rose made about him, how he tried to approach Derrick Rose is like, we're all black, let's stick together. Derrick Rose didn't trust him. Other players didn't trust him. You see Enes Kanter. It's just he did a lot of, sketchy things, especially when he first was hired, how he got rid of Mike Woodson's whole coaching staff after they won 54 games and made it to the second round the previous season. That didn't make any sense. Steve Mills, he's good for the operational side when it comes to like money and managing the team. But as far as like personnel for the basketball team, as far as putting the team together, he's not that guy.
Is running his mouth every day and speaking to the media. That is the only chance you have to get New Yorkers to get back on board because we're all depressed. Okay. We're all depressed.
No, Stephen A. Smith is speaking for himself. You're depressed. Not all of us are depressed. This is New York City. We don't get depressed over a basketball team. There's too much shit to do.
While we're on the subject of
coaching, you don't care about me, Jay.
See, look at this. Stephen A., he can't represent Knicks fans on TV. This guy looks too desperate. We don't look like that. We don't do that shit.
You don't care about me, Jay.
Okay.
Jay does not care about me. No.
Wait, you guys, look at this. Look at this.
Comforted.
Look at this guy. This guy looks like a man defeated.
Be comforted.
Steve Kerr has tweeted about the situation, so take a look what he has to say about the Fizdale firing. Yeah, if I had gone to New York, that would have been me like 3 years ago, Steve Kerr said. I'm well aware of that. Kerr almost took the job the year the Knicks hired Derek Fisher.
Now that right there shows you a lot of serious coaches They don't view that job as a favorable job at all. It's almost like a lame duck job. You're definitely going to be the fall guy, the same way Fizdale was just a fall guy. You know what's crazy? Them firing Fizdale didn't really do anything for like the reputation for like, as far as like, oh, it's his fault. No one believes it's Fizdale's fault. I mean, this is the weirdest firing I've ever seen because everyone knows Fizdale, they made him seem like he's the fall guy, but everyone knows it's not his fault. He didn't put this team together. He didn't trade for Dennis Smith Jr. when, right now Dennis Smith Jr. is not working out. He didn't sign all these free agents. So this is one of the most strangest firings I've ever seen in just sports in general. Because for a fact, with this, especially with this guy's reputation as a player's coach, it is not his fault.
Now, here's the part that Steve Kerr did not say in that tweet. Dolan didn't want to give him a 5th year, didn't want to guarantee it, but then turned around and guaranteed it to Derek Fisher. You just can't make this up.
Yeah, because you see, what they're not saying right now is that because at the time, coaches like that, where they didn't really have an experience, and just that season overall, when Steve Kerr and Derek Fisher were hired, there was like a wave of brand new coaches that used to be players. And they just started, beginning to get head coaching jobs in the NBA. So it wasn't normal to give guys, especially who never coached before, those type of contracts. That year, it became kind of normalized to give, first-time head coaches those type of contracts. So Dolan was kind of right about having, kind of raising his eyebrows at that number that was being given to Steve Kerr. But after that season, it was normalized for players that, just came off of retirement and became head coaches to get those type of contracts.
You can't make this up. You just can't make this up.
That's why I was laughing, Maria.
You just can't make this up.
It's laughable.
It's laughable to you. It's laughable to you. It's laughable to you. You just a Jordan, man.
See, look at this. Look at this. Stephen A is like a little kid right here. He does not represent the Knicks fans. We are not like this. This guy is just pouting right now.
Just go away.
Thank you.
I'd rather her hug me than you.
Thank you.
I don't like him right now. I really don't.
It's okay. You're a national.
It's really not
It's going to
funny.
be fine.
It's
Everything's
bad.
going to be fine.
It's bad.
Remember, you got to stay together. Just like you told the Cowboy fans.
They're worse than the Cowboys.
Everyone stay together.
See what I'm saying?
Everyone stay
I'm going
together.
home, y'all.
Go
I'm
get
going
your-
home.
Stephen A, you got to hold it together, man. And they are not worse than the Cowboys. Every season, they're telling us the Cowboys are going to be competing for a championship, and that does not happen. They don't tell us about the Knicks. They always say negative things about us. So it is what it is. The Cowboys are the most overhyped team in just professional sports overall, with no success. They got like 2 playoff wins in 20 years, but yet everyone says like they have Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Tony Romo, et cetera, et cetera. It is what it is. But in regards to the Knicks, this is the strangest firing, probably of all time, because everyone knows David Fizdale is not at fault for this team playing the way they are. And even after his firing, we got blown out by the struggling Portland Trailblazers, and we lost to Indiana just by 1 point. That was a competitive game, but we also barely got by the D-League Golden State Warriors team. We barely got by that team. We have a lot of holes in our roster overall, but we'll see if that Dennis Smith Jr. and that Alfred Payton situation works out, because right now that point guard situation is turning into a black hole. But it is what it is. Knicks fans on TV, man, they gotta represent us better, man, because Stephen A pouting like that on TV, that shit is pitiful, man. You guys stay safe. Peace.